What's good, y'all, and welcome to the first episode of, I don't know what I'm going to call these, my weekly recaps, my weekly analysis of the NFL season. But here we are. I've been telling myself for a little while now that I would get into this, and I'm finally, getting myself to do it. So here we are. I'm trying to be here every week, maybe 2 a week. Today, I'm going to be doing my mid-season awards. I have the normal awards, and I also have a couple ones that I threw in there, some superlatives. So, yeah, let's get into it. All right, so we're going to be starting with Offensive Rookie of the Year. My first honorable mention for Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to be Puka Nacua. On the season, he has 61 receptions, 795 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Someone who was drafted in the 5th round, I think it was, for Puka, the Rams couldn't ask for any more. When Kupp was out the first, 4 weeks, Puka put up 119 against Seattle, 147 against my Niners, 163 against the Colts. He has slowed down since Kupp has came back, but he did have 154 yards against the Steelers. But yeah, for someone who was drafted in the 5th, the Rams couldn't ask for anything better. He doesn't really run any go routes, or he's not, burning past anybody, but he's getting a lot of receptions, he's getting a lot of yards, and the Rams couldn't ask for much more. So I also had honorable mentions of Jordan Addison and Bijan Robinson. Jordan Addison on the season has 482 for 7 touchdowns. And trust me, against my Niners on Monday Night Football, he put on a show. So yeah, he gets one of my honorable mention spots. And shout out to Bijan out there in Atlanta. He had that 1 week where they said he was sick and didn't get many yards, but he's been electric, making people miss left and right. So yeah, those are my 3 honorable mentions for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And my winner for Offensive Rookie of the Year has to be C.J. Stroud. He's played amazing for a rookie quarterback. He has 1,800 yards on the season, 9 TDs, and what sticks out is he only has 1 interception. Just 1 for a rookie. He's playing phenomenal. The Texans are out there surprising people, winning games they probably shouldn't. And they couldn't ask for more out of their 2nd overall pick. He's looking like the best quarterback so far in this draft. And for my Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with Devon Witherspoon, cornerback from the Seattle Seahawks. He's been great for them. I think he has 1 interception on the season, but it was a pick 6. But interceptions don't really tell the entire story for corners. He's been great across from Tariq Woolen. And he's helped the Seattle Seahawks, have a pretty solid defense for what most people thought wasn't going to be a good defense. They actually do have a pretty solid defense this year. So, yeah, I'm going with Devon Witherspoon as my Defensive Rookie of the Year. Next award is going to be a pretty easy one. Comeback Player of the Year, Damar Hamlin. I don't have to say anything else. Damar Hamlin. He could have played 1 snap, 100 snaps. Damar Hamlin. And the next award, one of the tougher ones for me to, I wouldn't say tough, but there definitely were some good candidates for this award, Offensive Player of the Year. This one I want to start with the honorable mentions because there are some good options. First one, A.J. Brown. He is playing out of his mind. I think it's 6 straight games now of 125 yards. You put a ball anywhere near him, and he's coming down with it. There's just nothing you can do. The amount of contested catches he makes a week, the amount of broken tackles he has a week, it's ridiculous. He's making a case to be a top 5, top 3 guy, especially just based off of this season. He's balling out of control. He's playing amazing, and for Devontae Smith, who has had some ups and downs, A.J. Brown has definitely picked up the slack and then some. He's been phenomenal. And my other honorable mention for Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey. He, as a Niners fan, I watch him every week. I will say, as the weeks have gone on, his production has slowly declined, and I think that's just a usage thing, or Trent Williams is out, so maybe it's an offensive lineman thing. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey, I think it's 17 straight games now with a touchdown. Every week you can, if you're a betting person, Christian McCaffrey's touchdown should be free. The over on a 0.5 touchdown every week. He's been the engine of the 49ers offense. He's done everything they've asked him to. Christian McCaffrey, you can split him out wide, put him in the backfield, put him in the slot. It really doesn't matter. He can play anywhere. Last season in the NFC Championship game, he was even at quarterback. So yeah, he has 650. I'm looking at it on my other screen. He has 652 rushing yards on the season, 9 touchdowns, and that's just rushing. We know what Christian McCaffrey can do. Like I said, split out wide. But as I was saying, his play has. I wouldn't say his play has gone. It has. His play has gone down as the season has progressed. But with the bye week coming up, he gets the rest this week and come back week 10 it is against the Jags. I'm pretty sure he should be good, and he has dealt with a couple of injuries. But yeah, he started off the season really well and has dipped a little bit, but he's still putting up great numbers. I'm pretty sure he still leads the league in rushing yards. And my winner for Offensive Player of the Year has to be without a question, Tyreek Hill. He's already at 1,000 yards this season. Tua's just throwing it up, and he's getting it. You can put it 5 yards in front of him. He's gonna run and go get it. It really doesn't matter with Tyreek Hill. A lot of people say he's just speed, but his route running is really good. For him to be as small as he is, he's unguardable. You can't guard Tyreek Hill. He's had games where he's had 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 150, 2 touchdowns. What he's doing for that Miami offense, it's insane to watch. It really is. He's out there in Miami putting up crazy numbers. I think this is the fastest to 1,000. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. I want to say it is the fastest to 1,000 yards for a receiver. But yeah, I think undoubtedly Tyreek Hill is the Offensive Player of the Year. Now on to Coach of the Year. And I think there are some, sneaky good options for this award as well. For some honorable mentions, I went with Mike McDaniel of the Mike McDaniel of the Miami Dolphins, and DeMeco Ryans. That's my guy. I'm a Niners fan, and he was our DC. So DeMeco Ryans of the Houston Texans. What he's done over there to help turn around that franchise. A lot of people thought they were going to come in, roll over, be an easy win on the schedule, but he has them playing so well. He has them playing with so much energy, sprinting from sideline to sideline. C.J. Stroud is over there playing amazing. The Texans are no pushover. A lot of people, for the past few years, it's you play the Texans, it's a free win, but not this year, man. DeMeco Ryans has them playing really well, really hard. And Mike McDaniel of the Dolphins, another former Niner, what the Dolphins are doing, putting up 70 points. I think they're 6-2 on the season. They, in my opinion, have the Offensive Player of the Year and may have, an award winner at another position. I don't know if you guys watch Dolphins games, and if you see their pre-snap motion on offense, where they have, whether it be Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle, they have one of the two running across the line of scrimmage, and they get a running head start, which a lot of the league has kind of started doing and adapting to and putting into their game plan. Mike McDaniel was the originator of that, so he has them running across the line of scrimmage, so you get a running head start. And since they're running parallel to the line of scrimmage, they're not called for illegal motion or a false start or illegal formation, or a false start or anything like that. So they get a running head start. And Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle with a running head start, you're not catching them. So yeah, Mike McDaniel and DeMeco Ryans are my honorable mentions. My winner for Coach of the Year is Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions. The Lions were a team, I will say, that I wasn't the highest on. I know a lot of people coming into the season were saying, the Lions are going to be so good. The Lions are going to shock a lot of people. The Lions are winning that division. But, I wasn't one of those guys. I will say, and I will admit that I was wrong. The Lions are 6-2, looking really good. They did have that bad loss against Baltimore, but other than that, they started the season beating KC. They do have some good wins. Sitting atop the NFC North, Jared Goff has been playing well. They finally, now that David Montgomery's hurt, get well soon. But, on the positive side, Jahmyr Gibbs is getting a lot of touches, and he's been playing well. Even when they did have David Montgomery, he was playing well. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. Sam Laporta, the rookie tight end, is looking great. I have him on my fantasy team. I love him. And, the Lions, the culture that Dan Campbell has built over there over the past couple of years, he started shaky. But, they've definitely turned it around and are looking like one of the contenders and one of the best teams in the NFC, if you ask me. All right, we're down to our last 2 awards. Obviously, we're going to save MVP for last. So second to last, we got Defensive Player of the Year. And this is I'm saying it again, but it's another tough one. But in the end, I ended up going with TJ Watt. There's no describing how well TJ Watt's been playing, man. He had 3 sacks, I think it was week 1 against the Niners. He had a pick a couple of weeks ago. I think he has like 8.5 sacks on the season now. And, a lot of the Steelers' offense comes from their defense. It'll be the defense getting a turnover. TJ Watt, sacking the quarterback, a strip sack, a sack fumble, an interception. And, the offense has great field position. And if they're not, if it's not great field position, the defense has already scored, on defense for them. So the Steelers don't even have to worry about it. So, yeah, the defense is keeping the Steelers in a lot of games. And a lot of that defense has to do with TJ Watt. He's unblockable. You got to send 2 or 3 guys his way, or you send one, you're just giving up a sack. He really is a game wrecker, and what he's been doing in Pittsburgh has been unreal. It's crazy to see. Some honorable mentions I had for Defensive Player of the Year as well. I had Myles Garrett. I think he also has 8.5 sacks on the season. He's been playing really well. He always plays really well. Future Hall of Famer, if you ask me. I also have Fred Warner of my San Francisco 49ers. I think he has 2 picks on the season. Leads the team in tackles. What I will say, Fred Warner in pass coverage is one of the best I've ever seen. He is so good. He is so good in pass coverage. It doesn't make sense. And if you ever get the chance, there are breakdowns of what he sees. Like, he'll break it down what he sees in pass coverage, and it's really just crazy to hear him talk about what he sees. My last honorable mention for Defensive Player of the Year, I have Aiden Hutchinson on the Detroit Lions defensive end. He's a second-year player who's been playing really well. Helping that Detroit Lions team, be where they are, 6-2. And that's my last honorable mention. And I had TJ Watt winning a Defensive Player of the Year pretty easily, to be honest. I was a Fred Warner guy. I will say it was probably a little bit of bias, but I can't deny what TJ's doing over there in Pittsburgh. And last but not least, we have the MVP. For this one, I'm going to start with the honorable mentions and then get to my winner last. My first honorable mention, Lamar Jackson. So Lamar has, I think it's like 1,700 yards on the season, 9 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions. You got to love to see that from your starting quarterback. Only 3 interceptions. And what really jumps out for Lamar is, I think it is, a 70.5. So we'll round up for him. 71% completion percentage. Coming into the league, a lot of people said Lamar wasn't going to be an accurate quarterback. Can he throw the deep ball? Can he make the throws in the tight window? Can he find the spot for his receivers in a zone? And he's shut those questions down. 71 completion percentage for Lamar Jackson is insane. He's been playing really well. The Ravens are playing some good football as of late. You see what they did to the Lions a couple of weeks ago. And the Ravens are looking like one of the best teams in the AFC, and that's, credit to Lamar Jackson. Honorable mention for MVP is Patrick Mahomes. I think as long as he's in the league, as long as he's playing, he'll always be in this conversation. He has 15 touchdowns on the season. He does have 8 interceptions, but the Chiefs are 6-2. I think he's completing about 69% of his passes, and he's just being Patrick Mahomes, So yeah, that's my second honorable mention. And my winner for MVP is Tua. Around this time last year, you asked a lot of people, they would have said Tua should never play again. His career will be over because of, what he was going through with the concussions and all that. But this year he's come out, and that Miami Dolphins offense has been incredible. It's been insane. Their offense, scoring 70 points. They're putting up numbers. I think they lead the league in points scored. They should. They scored 70. But, yeah, Tua is completing 70% of his passes. He's thrown 18 touchdowns. I think he's what is it? 2,400 yards for Tua. He he's playing phenomenal ball right now. A lot of people said he couldn't make the deep pass. He underthrows his receivers, but nah, he's letting it fly, and the Dolphins are doing some crazy things over there. Tua, I think this is his award to lose right now. I really do think I think there's a pretty decent gap in the MVP race if you ask me. Tua, and then the rest. I don't think it's 1A, 1B or anything like that. I think Tua stands alone at the top in the MVP race if you ask me. I think, like I said, what he's doing with the Dolphins offense right now is, it's really a joy to see. And I'm happy for him after what he dealt with last season and the critics he had. Can he be the franchise quarterback? But it looks like the Dolphins made the right choice, and to me, they have the MVP of this season. And I only have a couple things left in this for my midseason awards. I do have some contenders. I do have contenders for each conference. For my contenders in the AFC, I have the Dolphins, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, and I have the Jags, but I need to see a couple more games out of the Jags. I know they have a bye week this week, then they come back and play the Niners. And I just need a couple more games out of the Jags, and it doesn't have to be wins. I just got to see them play a couple more times and see if they're really legit, I got to see them face some adversity and see how they bounce back. I like Trevor. I like what they're doing over there, But yeah, for now I have an asterisk by their name, but they're right outside. I could definitely see, if someone said they were a contender, I'm not going to argue with you. I'd say, it's perfectly fine. But yeah. And for my contenders in the NFC, I have the Eagles, of course. I have the Cowboys, the Niners, the Lions. And my questionable one in the NFC is the Seahawks. The Seahawks are really good, but I really do think they're a step behind those four of the teams that I named. The Eagles, the Cowboys, the Lions, and the Niners. The Niners have lost 3 in a row. We have lost our last 3 games. We're going into a bye right now. But I definitely do still think we're contenders. If our defense can just pick it up. We haven't really sacked the quarterback much this season. Nick Bosa only has 2.5 sacks on the season. You got to get that going. Brock Purdy hasn't played well these last 3 games. He started the first 5 games on fire. If you asked me after the first 5 games, Brock Purdy was my MVP, but he's nowhere near that conversation right now. He has 5 interceptions in his last 3 games. Started the season, I think it was 9 touchdowns, no interceptions, and it's been downhill since. But we'll be all right. I definitely do still think the Niners are contenders. I think the Cowboys are contenders, even though we blew them out. The Eagles are doing their thing, and the Lions, like I said earlier, I've mentioned a lot of times, is Lions are proving me wrong this year. But yeah, the Hawks, if Geno can keep up his play, the defense can keep playing well. DK and Lockett, if the receivers can stay healthy, they definitely can make some noise in the NFC. But I just do think they're, maybe one step below those top 4 to be in the top of the class of the NFC. And the very last thing, I don't even have my answer written down, but the very last thing I wanted to do today was make my Super Bowl prediction based off of the first 8 weeks of the season. From what I've seen from these teams, some have played 7 games, some have played 8 games. So based off of what I've seen, I don't have this written down, so I'm just gonna come up with this right now for my Super Bowl prediction. In the AFC, man, I really hate betting against Patrick Mahomes. Every time I say, the Chiefs are, they have Mahomes, but they're not going to do it. Somebody's going to knock them off. The Bengals are going to knock them off. The Ravens are going to knock them off, The Bills will knock them off. Patrick Mahomes just proves me wrong every single time. But I'm doing it again. I don't have the Chiefs there. I don't have the Dolphins there. My brother's going to be really happy about this, that I'm picking them. I got the Ravens. The Ravens, I don't think enough people are talking about. The Ravens defense, they have Marlon Humphrey. They have, guys like Patrick Queen, Odafe Owe. They have Roquan Smith, one of the best. You asked me the second best middle linebacker in the league, to Fred Warner, of course. But yeah, they got ball players over there, and obviously on offense they got Lamar, Mark Andrews. They did lose J.K. Early in the season. I was hoping they made a move for a running back at the deadline, but they didn't. But I think they'll still be fine. They got Gus Edwards, Justice Hill. And at receiver they got Zay Flowers, who's been playing really well. They got OBJ, Rashad Bateman. But yeah, if you ask me, present day, I got the Ravens coming out of the AFC. They got the dynamic quarterback in Lamar. There's nothing he can't do. And I'm just really liking the way they are playing this year. So yeah, it may shock a lot of people that I'm not picking the Dolphins or the Chiefs or the Bengals, who've been hot lately, are a sneaky good pick. But I got the Ravens. I really do like them this year. And my Super Bowl pick in the NFC, I really don't know where to go here because my heart wants me to go with the Niners, obviously. But if I'm thinking, my Niner bias aside, I think right now I don't think I can pick against the Eagles. Based off of what I've seen the last 3 games of the Niners, Brock Purdy hasn't played well. The defense has been getting thrashed. Kirk Cousins threw on nearly 400 on us. The Niners definitely, got to go into this bye, look themselves in the mirror and get right. Hopefully adding Chase Young, which I do like. I wish we would have added, some cornerback help. But adding Chase Young, will help the defense. And it help the defensive line, but it'll also help the corners. A better pass rush makes the cornerbacks better because they don't have to defend for as long. They don't have to chase someone around for as long, if the rush can get home. So, Chase Young should help the cornerbacks play better. But I definitely do wish we went and made a move at DB. But, yeah, I just can't pick against the Eagles. The way A.J. Brown is playing, that offensive line, the tush push. Jalen Hurts hasn't been amazing, but he's playing good. DeAndre Swift has been really good for them, and that defense, Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Fletcher Cox still there, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean. They have a lot of guys over there. That pass rush, Hassan Reddick. They have a lot of guys over there, and I definitely do think I'm going with the Eagles. So if you ask me today, I have the Ravens and Eagles in the Super Bowl. If I had to pick a winner, I think I'd go with the Eagles. So at present day, after week 8, November 2nd is when I'm doing this. I got the Eagles as my Super Bowl champions. So yeah, those were my, mid-season awards. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, before I get to that, I know, this probably isn't the greatest setup. The lighting isn't the greatest. The quality isn't the greatest, but we're just starting. You got to start somewhere. And like I've said, I don't know if I said this earlier, but like I said, I've been planning to do this for a few years now, and I definitely, I finally brought myself, built up enough courage to do it. Last season I had, an entire video recorded and ready to go, but I just couldn't bring myself to upload it for some reason. But this season, it's just like, why not? I know, I watch the game a lot. I know a lot about it. So it's why not just, make something out of it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave some comments, critiques, whatever you got for me. Like, subscribe, do all of that. I don't have a name for this. Like I said, recaps, our analysis, whatever. I don't know what it's going to be called. But for now, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next one. There definitely will be a next one. Now that I'm dropping one, why stop here? So I'll see you guys in the next one. I appreciate the support. And yeah, peace.